Hello, and welcome to the channel. And I'm finally starting the Vocaloid Genshin designs I promised at the end of the Miku series. I'm assuming everyone here saw the series, but for those who didn't, I'm leaving a link to a playlist of the whole thing in the description. Still, here's a little explanation of what's going on. The original Genshin Miku series was inspired by Project Voltage, which was a collab between Hatsune Miku and Pokemon, where they created music and, more importantly for this video, gave Miku a trainer design for each Pokemon type. And so I did the same, creating a Miku design for each element and region of Genshin Impact. At the end of the Miku series, I decided I'd do some Genshin designs for the rest of the Krypton Vocaloid crew, plus Teto, because she's iconic, since Project Voltage had also done the same. So, just like with Miku, the gang will be designed based on a region and element of Genshin, and we're giving them a job or occupation, a weapon, and a basic kit. The region, weapon, and element are chosen randomly, although I will be putting elements that match the character aesthetically to make things a little easier on myself. I'm also going to avoid giving them the same element as the Miku of whatever region they get. The goal of the video is to make a splash art of the final design and come up with a basic kit for them. For this video, we're starting with Luca. Why her? I don't know, I just started with her. To the Gachapon! For Luca, we're going with Pyro, Inazuma, and Catalyst. The Gachapon was not kind to me. I was hoping to avoid element and weapon combos I'd already had, but I guess it's kind of funny that the first Genshin Vocaloid gets the same weapon and element as the first Genshin Miku. Project Voltage gave their Krypton designs the same type and aesthetic as their associated Miku, but I wanted the designs to look distinct. I still wanted them to feel like they were sorta alike in a way. For Luca, that first translated into making her a yokai like I'd done with Hydra Miku. I initially based her on the Tako Nyobo, which is an octopus from a story that takes a human form and becomes a guy's wife using her amazing housekeeping skills. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird story, but it was the only octopus-adjacent yokai I could find, and I really wanted to reference Takoluka with this one. To keep the pyro alignment, I decided to base her on Takoyaki. The idea was that she initially went in trying to find a husband, and either started a takoyaki stand instead or became a cook at a restaurant. But when I started designing her, she reminded me too much of Yume Mizuki and Yaomiko, and I also really wanted to keep the whole housewife getup, but it made her design look way too empty, so I just scrapped the whole thing. You will be missed, octopus waifu Luca. After a lot of overthinking and trying to still keep the Tako Luca idea, I had to take a pause and work out what I wanted to do with these designs. I already knew they had to match the original Miku, but I decided it would be fun if they contrasted each other at the same time. So for Luca, I decided I wanted her to be a human from Konda Village who was really good at doing all the things Hydro Miku was struggling with, chores, errands, and housekeeping, but was not happy doing these things, actively wanting to get away from her dull life in the village. Real Disney princess type beat. So she'd be dressed in something a little less intricate than Miku. It also retroactively fixed the issue of Miku's design not being focused on her helper side, since now it contrasts with Luca's more. I also decided to actually lean into the musical aspect of her character, unlike with Miku, and that ended up giving me the idea of giving her a yokai instrument.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
I chose the shamishoro, which is a shamisen, a Japanese 3-stringed instrument that becomes a yokai after several years, often after its former master dies or stops using it. After its transformation, it longs to be played again by someone. With all that settled, I decided to give her a flower theme, since Miku had a lotus theme. I decided on the ume, or plum blossom, which in Japanese culture symbolizes spring, elegance, good fortune, and resilience, which I felt matched my version of Luca. I really wanted to give her shamisen a face, and once I'd found one I liked, I moved on to the splasher. When I started drawing her, I was a little worried about her pose looking too much like Shinyan's splash art since she's also a pyro user with a guitar adjacent instrument. But you know what? It looks more like Venti's. Again! The pose does work super well with my idea of her burst, especially since the Shami Shoro face is pretty important to it. The idea is that Luca would strum it, and impassioned by her playing, it would first release the burst of pyro, making little yokai fires appear around them, and enhancing both pyro damage and any pyro reaction. I'd call it Fiery Fervor. To make her fit with Hydro Miku, I did end up giving her a kit that enhances Vaporize reactions because we all love characters with niche and extremely specialized kits. About her Shami Shoro, the way I imagine it, it's a super sad, mopey thing that's always saying the most dramatic stuff and being a bit of a Debbie Downer. Luca usually manages to placate it by promising she'll play a tune later, which she always does very happily. He's very caring and diligent towards her companion, both because it's her musical instrument, but also because she feels very happy to have found it. After all, now she's closer to her dream of becoming a professional musician. She even gave it a name. Umetomo, which means plum friend. Despite its whining, Umetomo is very thankful to Luca for finding it and saving it from its fate of never being played again. While it trusts her, it does have some abandonment issues, and that might be why it's so quick to dramatize everything. I haven't quite figured out where these two met, so feel free to suggest ideas. And here she is in her final splash art. For her burst, Luca plays her shamisen with fiery passion, causing Umetomo to go into a state of equally fiery fervor. In this state, Umetomo's usual frown turns into a grin, and it releases a burst of pyro, summoning yokai flames and enhancing the pyro and vaporize damage of the on-field character. For her normal attacks, Luca strums her shamisen, performing up to 4 consecutive attacks and dealing pyro damage. For her elemental skill, she does a powerful strum on her shamisen, dealing AoE pyro damage and reducing the pyro and hydro resistance of damaged opponents. Luca is a young woman from Konda village trying to escape her life in the sleepy village to follow her dream of becoming a professional shamisen player. She plays with her Shamishoro companion Umetomo, a side yokai who found a bit of happiness being played by someone so passionate. Despite her passionate playing, it seems most of her audience are other yokai intrigued by her and Umetomo. At least the local Kappa Musume seems to really enjoy singing alongside her. Maybe they could perform in front of a crowd together one day. And there we go. As sad as I am to have scrapped Octopus Waifu Luca, I do like this new version, especially her little buddy Umetomo. I even drew a few expressions for it, including expressions it might have during dialogue scenes. Would I pull her just because of her shamisen? Maybe. But what do you guys think? Does she look like she fits Hydro Miku? Here's a drawing of them together if you need visuals to make a decision. The answer better be yes. They have complementary colors. I give Luca a scarf with similar colors to Miku's. The blue in Luca's design is the same one in Miku's hobby. I'm missing one, y'all. You can say no. It'll just hurt my feelings. Anyway, thank you everyone for all the comments on previous videos, and welcome to all the new subscribers. I do hope you enjoyed this very late new video. If you don't want to miss next Vocaloid design, which will not be posted for a little while, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified once I post the next video. Also, I'm changing the outro theme because apparently the old one was copyrighted, despite saying it was not. No, I am not mad about it. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.